uh, good afternoon or good evening or wherever you are or what time you are. If you're watching this, I wanted to share with you um, just some information about my future plans in training as far as what my goals are for competing for the rest of this year as well as early next year, and what I plan to hopefully set out to accomplish. And I wanted to share this information and the rationale behind how I approach it, as I think that this is potentially helpful information that can help you, if it's something you're interested in, to be able to grab some information from this and hopefully use it to your training and how you're able to approach whatever your goals are. So, first and foremost, I just did a competition recently. This was the IPA Showdown at the Storm in Daytona Beach, Florida, and competed in obviously deadlift only in a single ply suit. And my goal was to lift 854 pounds. Lifted the weight very easily. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to lock it out all the way. So unfortunately, it did not pass. However, looking back at my training and what led up to that, I found that what I had been doing is working, and also it excites me because I see what my potential is in the long term as well, which has made me restructure what my goals are for the coming future. Now, you're going to see on this board here a couple of pieces of information. I have 4 different sections. I have 8 names on here and a 9th that is left blank. My meet PR, my training PRs, and then what my next competitions are. And I'll go into each one specifically. Now, the reason why I have all these names up here is because you will see that these are 8 different men, and they've all deadlifted over 900 pounds. Now, the thing with them is that these are 8 men who have deadlifted over 900 pounds in competition drug-free. Now, the reason why I left this 9th blank is because my goal and my pursuit is, and I've always been very reluctant to say what my goals are, and not say them and manifest them into the future or just to put it out there on the internet. But my goal is to be the 9th person to deadlift 900 pounds drug-free, and going to give you guys some rationale as to how I'm going to approach it. Now, I wanted to talk about these names specifically because as you look at this list here, you have guys that are as low as 901 pounds up to 948 pounds, but also some very, very iconic names in powerlifting that have went on to do very prestigious things. For example, Konstantin Konstantinov, who did 948 in a drug-free competition, actually went on to break the all-time world record and had the heaviest beltless deadlift at 939 in the 308 weight class. Phenomenal lifter, obviously. If I butcher his name, I'm sorry. Krzysztof Rizbicki, I believe is his name. Another phenomenal deadlifter. At one point had the heaviest deadlift ever in the IPF, and also has went on to deadlift over 1,000 pounds in competition as well. So another phenomenal lifter. Mikhail Kokliov, another very famous Olympic weightlifter, obviously was very successful in powerlifting as well. I'm not too familiar with Timur. I know that he did this in actually an IPF competition, which obviously it's phenomenal. Using a power bar to be able to deadlift over 900 pounds is amazing. Mark Henry, for those of you who know who that is an individual who competed in the WWE as a professional wrestler, strongman competitor, Olympic weightlifter as well, touted as one of the strongest men in history, had a good stint in powerlifting, and was able to pull 903 pounds in competition as well. Phenomenal, obviously, lifter also. Benedict Magnuson, who also pulled 903 drug-free in a competition. The reason why he is of significance is because right now I believe he has the 4th heaviest deadlift of all time at 1,015, and becoming the first person to deadlift over 1,000 raw in a competition. So another phenomenal lifter. Jesus Olivares pulled 903 in competition. Obviously, a commodity today as far as in the sport, has the heaviest sleeve total of all time, regardless of tested or untested as well. And Julian, I also believe, pulled this in the IPF also. Not too familiar with him as well. And I left the ninth because I intend on being that ninth person. And also, one of the things that stood out to me on this list as well is that there are only, make sure I count correctly, there are only 2 Americans that are on here. Obviously, if I'm able to do it, I will become the 3rd American, regardless of weight class, division, to be able to do it also, which would be a phenomenal feat in itself. But either way, to be able to accomplish something of the likes of these individuals, to me is something that's truly special. And obviously, these are some of the strongest humans that ever walked the planet, that compete in powerlifting as well. So it would really be cool to share something synonymous with these individuals. I can tell you right now, I think that 9th person is going to come very soon. There's a gentleman named Sanchez Dylan who's competing right now, who's done a very easy 892 in the IPF, and it's only a matter of time before he pulls over 900. And there's another kid who's, I believe, in the 120 weight class as well. That's on the rise too. So this list is going to be expanding a little bit longer pretty soon, but I would like to add my name to that list as well. So that would be pretty cool. Now, just wanted to focus specifically on my meet PRs in competition. As of right now, the best I've done is 835. I did that in the Arnold this year. The reason why I have 854 in the stars, because that's what I attempted in this last meet, and things did not go the way I wanted to. However, the weight did move very well, and the good thing is the way that 854 moved, it showed to me that I have so much upside and so much more potential that made me really refigure what I believe was possible for my body and what I could strive to achieve. And it made me believe that if I still continue to train and keep at this, that 900 is something that's in the cards for me if I do things correctly and I stay healthy as well. And that's going to be my current pursuit. Now, how do I get there? Obviously, training. Obviously, have to train for it. My current training PRs now, all these training PRs are specifically in the setup of obviously using my deadlift suit as well as pulling on an IPF power bar. What I train with, and I've been training with for the past decade, is a Eleiko IPF powerlifting bar. I've always been a big person that believed that as a deadlifter, you should train with a power bar, and then obviously either way, whether you compete with a power bar or if you compete with a deadlift bar, to me, training is superior with training with a power bar anyway, because one thing that I've noticed statistically for me in my career, 9 times out of 10, any number I hit on here with the power bar, I know I have at least a minimum of 30 pounds more in the tank if I'm able to compete with a deadlift bar. So for example, obviously the best I've done so far in training was 826. That's obviously add almost 30 more pounds to that. That would be the 854 that I attempted, which moved very easy as well. And that lets me know as a safe spot, a safe range, that if I can hit at least 30 pounds, whatever that number is, 30 pounds less in training, then I'm confident that things go well. I have the strength to get it in competition. So you see here that my goal from now until October, which I'll get to the competitions in a second, is I want to get to 850, and I want to get to 850 on my power bar. Obviously, that is going to take some time, so that's going to be the goal, to chip away at that from now until this competition in October. I'm not saying it's going to happen within that time frame. However, I do believe if I can hit 850 in training on my power bar, that's going to set me up very confidently to be able to pull 400 kilos. And obviously, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I got to be able to pull 400 kilos before I pull 410 or 903. So that's the plan for me right now. One of the things that I do in training specifically is not only do I use the power bar, but I also use the chains. And the reason why I use the chains is because the chains actually affect the inertia of the bar when you initially start to pull it. And the whole point of that is just to make the bar harder to pull from the floor. And when you are able to use accommodating resistance with chains obviously make it that much more harder and difficult to pull off the floor. So once you take the chains off, it makes it that you're that much more explosive, improves the inertia that's on the bar, that transfers the energy out to the plates, thus being able to lift the weight faster, right? So it's all about focusing on lifting the weight quicker to get the speed. So obviously the 850 is going to be specifically straight weight without any chains, but I do a progressionary period where in a block I will train 3 or 4 times with the chain, and then once I get to the top end of that training cycle, when I go for one of these numbers, it would be with the chains off. And that's what I have been doing recently for the past couple months, and it's been working for me. And it's been a significant game changer using that in training, going from chains on a bar with weight to a straight bar with weight, and then going from that to a competition with a deadlift bar, and it's been working for me. I would say if you're an individual that likes to compete with a deadlift bar, my suggestion would be is to give a try to train with the power bar for a couple of blocks, then go back to the deadlift bar. You will be surprised how much more explosive you will be and how much more you'll be able to lift, because you are learning to be more explosive right at the bottom of the start of the deadlift, versus with a deadlift bar, as you progress with heavier weight, you're going to be able to use that slack to start at a higher position. Basically, look at it as pulling with a deadlift bar in a deficit. That's basically the concept of what a power bar is to me, and that's how I've always trained, and I've been training like this for the past 11 years, and it's worked. So I would say definitely give it a try. Now, what's the plan as far as for my competitions? As of right now, the next competition I have set for myself is going to be the Mr. Olympia in October 10th, and that's 130 days away. This is going to be an APO competition. They're having the bench wars that weekend, but I'm going to compete that Friday in the open competition, and that's the plan for me. So that's the plan right now. The goal there is going to definitely be to achieve a 400 kilo deadlift at minimum, at least. So that's the plan. And then the next competition after that would be the Arnold 2026 in Columbus, Ohio on March 6th, which is 277 days, which is almost a year from now, to hopefully push for 900 that day. So that's going to be the long-term plan. And the reason why I have it set up this way is because to get to these type of numbers, I don't want to rush the process. And I know for a fact that it's going to take some time to get there. And I also want to make sure I do it in a safe and healthy way, slowly taking my time and chipping away to get to those numbers. So that's the plan for me. Just wanted to share this. I don't really share my approach when it comes to training, but I can tell you right now, another thing I do is I do study other lifters. So one of the things that I'm definitely going to be doing is just doing some research on all these individuals and seeing what is it that they all do similar for training purposes that has gotten them to go and exceed 900 pounds on a deadlifting competition. So that's something else that I will be doing a very big deep dive on, because I'm pretty sure from these individuals, and I'm sure for those of you as well, we could definitely learn something from these guys. So maybe there's something they're doing I'm not, and maybe there's something that I could apply to my training that may be the kick to help me get to these type of numbers, or like I said, maybe what I'm doing is working, but the whole point is just trying to improve and just keep getting better and hopefully achieve those goals. So that's the video. Just wanted to share this information. Obviously, I'm an open book, so if you have any questions, you would like to know any knowledge, any more information about my training and accommodating resistance and how I've been applying that to my training, pulling in a suit, more than happy to answer any questions. So thank you. Thank you so much.